Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Sid and Friends in the morning.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yeah, never got over that. Never got over the fact that, Herbie, the Rangers were not a very good team. They went to the Cup in 79. Ron was on that team. Duguay got there in 77. And they lost to the Canadians. But I didn't like hockey back then because in my house, hockey wasn't a big deal. My dad wasn't a big hockey fan. He loved football and baseball. My next-door neighbor, Joseph Iovine, listening right now in New Jersey, he loved the Rangers. And he would wear a Ron Duguay jersey, number 10, in Brooklyn all the time, and he got me into it. So I didn't see the Davidson 79 team, but I was there right after for Fred Chiro and Craig Patrick. And I was certainly there in 81 when Herb Brooks took over the Rangers. And we went almost to the Stanley Cup Finals. We lost to the Islanders like we did every year. And Ronnie was my favorite and best player. We had a lot of very good players. Mike Rogers, 100-point guy. Mark Pavelich, the Maloney brothers, and Reijo Ruotsalainen, and Barry Beck, and Ronnie Kreshner, Eddie Mio in the pipes. But it was all about Duguay, and then Herb traded him because he went to Studio 54 every goddamn night. He was still a great player. Ended up playing with Mario Lemieux in Pittsburgh, Wayne Gretzky in Los Angeles, and came back to retire as a New York Ranger. But now he's in the battle of his life. It may not be against Clark Gillies, Mike Bossy, and Brian Trottier. But I found out a year ago, and a lot of you were just finding out, that Ronnie is battling colon cancer. I did not know he was in stage 4. I just found that out yesterday. He's in the New York Post today. He's everywhere. People magazine, because everybody knows him, right? The jeans commercials, and he was Derek Jeter back in the 1980s. So I called Ron last night, nervous. I said, Ronnie, what's going on? What's really going on? Because I spoke to Ron a couple of times throughout the last year. I knew he had cancer. Sarah Palin was helping him, his daughters. I wanted the real truth because the magazines and papers are making it sound like Dugay's about to die. So here he is, my dear friend, the great New York Ranger, and one of the most popular New York athletes ever, number 10, Ron Duguay. Ronnie, good morning, bud. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. I tell it, you listen to you in the morning, it wakes you up. I love your energy, and thank you for sharing your beginnings as a Ranger fan, and I guess a fan of mine. I really appreciate that. And with the announcement of what I'm going through, I'm receiving a lot of that from Ranger fans right now, and it's really been overwhelming. As an athlete, you go out and you perform, and you like to think that you're being entertaining, and you like that you're making a difference. But now I'm seeing that I really have made a difference in the likes that I'm getting. I'm really enjoying. I didn't do it. I didn't come out and talk about it because of that or for that reason. It was my daughters that really encouraged me to talk about it. I just kind of wanted to wait till I got to the end of this to be able to talk about it and be able to share. But circumstances have changed, and now I'm talking about it, and I'm open about it, and I'm willing to, what I want to do is get better so I can continue helping others, and that's my goal.
That's huge. You're a huge inspiration, not just Ranger fans. That's easy because you're beloved. You told me last night that even Islander fans, and back in those early 80s, you guys took on the Islanders just about every year, semis, conference finals, and they won because, again, they had Bossy, Trottier, Potvin, Billy Smith, all those great players, and you guys were a very good hockey team, but they were great. But you told me last night that even Islander fans of the enemy, they've been reaching out to you lately, even Clark Gillies Foundation. Isn't that true?
Yes, absolutely. Islander fans and Flyer fans, believe it or not. But yes, I have. We battle so hard on the ice. Guys like Clark Gillies, Bobby Nystrom, Butch Goring, and others. And then afterwards, we're like a brotherhood as hockey players. Now you play hard against each other, you compete, but off the ice, we really care about each other. And what I'm saying is what we saw on the Olympic team, right? Like the Canadians and the Americans go at it. They don't like each other. They want to win for their country. But afterwards, they'll shake hands, and we're all like brothers.
No. I hate to tell you, Ronnie, I hate to break it to you because I know you're from Toronto. You're a Canadian, even though we think you're a New Yorker. You guys on the Canada team, McKinnon, some of you guys acted like little bitches. I got to be honest.
Well, let me just say they're very sad, and I can understand it because I've been on the losing end of situations like that, like losing in the Stanley Cup Finals against Montreal. Twice I played in World Championships, Canada Cup, lost to the Russians. I played in the World Championship as a junior because you put so much into it, emotional, physically, and when you lose, it's hard to handle. And I have to say, some players handle it a little better than others, and so I get it. Listen, I get it.
Yeah.
But afterwards, they're okay. But they put everything's on the line, especially if you think like McCrimmon, who felt like he made a few mistakes, he missed opportunities, and he's kind of hard on himself. And so I think it looked worse than what it is, and so I'm just trying to defend.
No, listen, they're back on the ice last night. The Canadian players with their American, cohorts on their teams against them. The NHL resumed action last night. The Devils did lose in overtime. No goals for Hughes, and actually, Halibuck's Winnipeg Jets played last night, but they gave him the night off. He did not play last night. Rangers back on the ice against the Flyers tonight. So, Ronnie, you talked about your daughters, and what we did see a lot in the press is, and I guess you'll have to clear this up, that part of the reason why your story has become so public, and again, it's been out there. I've watched you on Instagram for a year, on the beach, the blankets, Sarah, all that. But if you haven't been paying attention, they're talking about a GoFundMe page. Is that part of the reason why you made this story public?
Yeah, so you mentioned Sarah. She's listening right now. She woke up. She's in Alaska, and she wanted to listen to you because she's a big fan of yours. So she's listening.
Listen, I know. Just so you know, I love her too, and I reached out to her yesterday because, unlike the Ron Duguay, you did not get back to me right away. So then I got doubly nervous. So I texted Sarah. She got back to me. She's a great girlfriend. I know how much she loves you. But again, this GoFundMe page, this is important to you.
Yes. Well, it started with my daughters, and they wanted to do this a little while back, and I said, no, I can't. I said, listen, I'm the one that's trying to want to help others. For me to reach out and ask for people to help, and the reason that they decided they want to do this because they want to take my treatments to another level. And everyone knows who's been involved with cancer, it's extremely expensive. I've been at it over a year, and it takes a lot out of you. And so these treatments that I'm looking for to take me to the finish line, some of it is not available here in the United States. So I'm looking to go elsewhere in other countries where it's available. They're getting good success. And I have to say they're making progress here in the States, but it's not the same. And so it's all so expensive. And my daughter said, Dad, we don't want to keep dragging this on. Let's just go for it. Let's go hard. I said, okay. So my daughters, Shay and Amber, they both opened this fund, and people have been awesome. And like we had said earlier, Clark Gillies Foundation called, and they're making a big donation, and I appreciate that.
Right.
But many have been doing it. They've been talking to me, and that's really the goal. I want to get better so I can continue help others in different ways, but also tell my story about cancer, what I've been through. I've been through so much. Some things work, some things don't work. So I'll be able to talk about it.
Well, I want to talk about specifically then the battle. And you told me yesterday some of these alternative medicines may take you to places like Germany, Mexico, who knows? Could be Europe, could be Mexico. But tell me about the battle because, again, the papers, People Magazine, they have you dead tomorrow. So you don't sound like that to me. Now, I'm not looking at you, and I did see a picture of you yesterday. You're still very handsome, by the way, Ronnie, very handsome. Nobody wears a velour jacket or a velvet jacket like you, nobody. But and you sound great. So my gut tells me that you're probably better than the press is making us think, but maybe not. And again, I've watched your battle over the year. You and I have talked probably 10 times. I've talked to Sarah. I've seen the pictures on Instagram. Tell me specifically what your days have been like, and just how dire is it? Because, thank God, Ronnie, you sound pretty good.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you the short of it, all right? So when they say I have stage 4, once you get stage 4, which I had over a year ago, stage 4 stays with you. It's kind of a term that they use when it goes from one location, moves into another. And that's kind of what happened to me. I had a little something, my colon ended up in my liver, had no idea. So the beginning was stage 4, and they still say I have stage 4 until I'm clear.
Right, and then also in the beginning, because you said it started in your colon, and if I'm wrong about any of this, just correct me, but I believe that throughout this process, you've lost both your appendix and your gallbladder. Is that true?
Yes, well, that's where, I don't want to be too critical of the Western medicine, but there are side effects when you're doing chemo or radiation, and that's what happens. I was doing really well, and about 6-7 months later, I was rushed to the hospital because I have an issue with my appendix, and so I had to move it, and that kind of took me back. It set me back because I was doing so well, and then they wanted to do surgery on my colon, remove that little piece that was there, 3 centimeters. I did that, and that set me back for about 3 months. It's kind of you're going sideways. And so, but right now I feel well. We had the change. And the other thing is with stage 4 cancer, at the end, sometimes it's the hardest part to get you clear because stage 4 cancer itself, it's a stronger cancer. It's like taking antibiotics all the time and eventually it doesn't work anymore. And so now we've had to switch up the medicine. And I'm in the hospital. It's called City of Hope in California. They've been wonderful. And so we've switched it up, and I feel good. A lot of my weight's come back. My energy's come back. I've gone back on the ice. And so it's just I want to finish this off as soon as possible. And there are other therapies that are not available here that even I was talking to a friend of mine, there's a good therapy in Russia. I have connections in Russia. So I may end up in Russia with this new technology, or it could be Germany, or it could be close by in Mexico. So all this, very expensive, and so I want to get it done. I wanted to get it done quick. I want to get back out there. I want to get back on the ice and be myself.
You've mentioned your daughters a couple of times, and I know you've always had a great relationship, Ronnie, with the girls, but times like this is where it's all about family and friends. That's it, right? And, Ranger fans, that's great. We love you. I'm a friend, obviously, but Ranger fans, Islander fans like Tom Caniff or Orrin Porter Lewis, it's all great, but right now, family and friends, that's what you need. And I have to guess, I don't know this, Ron Duguay, but my guess is that your daughters, lovely girls, by the way, is that your daughters are so involved that you've probably grown even closer to your girls throughout this whole process.
Well said. Through the process, I was having, because I was doing my treatments in California, that's where they're based out of. My son lives with me here in Florida. So every 2 weeks, I end up in California. But the beginning, which was the worst, my 2 girls, they just took charge. And it was yes, I've gotten much closer to them because because I've always known they love their dad, but this has taken it to way another level. And I've become so much closer with them. But they're raising a family. They have kids. But every time I would see them, big smile on their face, everything's positive, everything's good, and they would just lift me up. And I would do the same. And so that's what's important. You can't go negative. It's all positive. It's all good. And they just put life into me. And they love their dad, and I love them back. And it's been wonderful. And I would say the same with some of my friends, especially here locally in Florida. They've been awesome. They all, they're always calling, checking up. Everyone's checking up on me, and that's what's uplifting for me. And so that's why I keep going. I think you're just every morning.
I think you're just missing one call, Ronnie, from your friend in Florida, and he's Sarah's friend, and he's my friend. When's that call from President Trump coming?
Yeah. Well. He's a busy guy. He's a busy man, and I would say that I know him, but I don't know him that well. And the guy has a way of he loves to uplift people and that's his way, right? You can say what you want about the guy, but the guy has a good heart. From what I know about him, and from everyone who knows him, the man has a good heart. You may not like some of the stuff he does, but he's a good man. He's been a good president. So. It's unfortunate the battles that he has to go through every single day.
I know him well, not as well as Bill O'Reilly, coming up in about 30 minutes, but he's a wonderful guy. So, Ronnie, I think you're 67, 68. You look much younger. Even after your battle here with cancer, you still look great. You're a great-looking guy. You got great genes. I don't mean Sassoon or Jordash. I mean genes with a G. But you said you're back on the ice. Do you actually compete in, in the neighborhood games in Jacksonville? What are you doing back on the ice?
Well, something that I've always done is that I take part in a lot of fundraisers. And for me, it's playing hockey. And we're a bunch of alumni that are still giving back. And most of it is in Canada, and most of it is in the eastern part of Canada and the Maritime. So it's called a Celebrity Hockey Tour. And they've been using me in the last year as part of rehab for me. I go on the ice, I'm maybe at 30%, 40%, but for me to just be on the ice and to move and to exercise, because when you're ill, the best thing you can do is continue to exercise to a drop. So I'm with the guys. I love being with them, and it's just a lot of fun. We travel around, and a lot of us have not played on the same team. We're a bunch of brothers, and we care about each other. And so I continue to do that because it's a big part of me getting better. Being happy is healing.
Any of the guys that you played with, I mentioned a lot of the names, right? Rogers came later, but like the Maloney brothers, they were there forever with you. Donnie, number 12, and number 26, Dave. I love those guys. Those guys, your teammates in those classic battles, the loss to Montreal in 79, those classic battles against the Islanders, have they been reaching out to you quite a bit?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny, the players that I'm closer with are the players that you went the distance with. So the guys that I went the distance with in that 79 season, like Ron Gresser, Phil Esposito, I just talked to Espo the other day, and he said, Dukes, anything I can do to help. But it's those guys that you played hard with, you competed hard with, because what it takes to go the distance, you have to be like a pack of wolves, right? Willing to do whatever it takes to help each other, support each other. Those are the guys. And, of course, it's New York, right? When you're a New York Ranger, you go through a lot, especially back in my time. Yeah. So, Gress, I talked to a lot. Tommy Laidlaw called me the other day. And actually, Sam Rosen, Joe Micheletti, those guys that I've done TV with, everyone's reached out to me.
That is awesome. And I did make the point to Eruzione when he was on right before we won the gold, and there it was again that all these players, they were amateurs. Now they're pros. So those amateur players went to the NHL, and Kenny Morrow went to the Islanders. He won 4 Stanley Cups. And I mentioned the fact that guys like Rob McClanahan, Davey Silk, and, of course, the late, great Mark Pavelich all skated with you at Madison Square Garden. And Herbie went on to coach you, Herb Brooks, and you guys had great success till he traded you. But a lot of those guys ended up being your teammates. What was it like, Ron Duguay? I know you're a Toronto guy, but you're not. You're still New York. You could live in Jacksonville, go to California, get treated in Germany. I don't care. You're in New York with a capital N. What was it like watching our kids win the gold? Our guys.
Well, let me just add. Yes, I'm Canadian. I grew up there up till the age of 19, but I became a man quickly in New York. So that's where, for me, that was where my growth was.
But wait a second. So are you telling me that was it on the ice? Was it at Studio 54? Where did Ron Duguay become a man?
Well, it's experiencing everything.
Yeah.
One, as an athlete, you got to compete. Like the Ranger crowd, they're expecting greatness out of you. And you have to perform. Otherwise, they're not going to like you so much. So you got to do it on the ice. You got to do the work. And if you do the work, then like the Olympians, you can go and celebrate like a bunch of pirates on an island somewhere like they did. And so I took advantage of everything. And I don't think I crossed the line as far as doing too much or being too silly. I went out, had some fun. I got rid of the lactic acid in my legs by going out dancing, and I just love performing. That's the part that I miss is being an athlete. Yeah. And so that's what I saw with this Olympic team, right? I loved how JT Miller. You see JT Miller. I mean, he's got his game face on when he plays the game. Game face. He looks grumpy all the time, but you see him off the ice, happy as can be. Yep. He's having a blast, and that's what those little guys are. Like Hughes, right? He looks like he's a boy. Well, he's a boy, but he's a man. Yep. He grew up really quick, and this is going to help him through this whole career. So let me go back to when I got to the New York Rangers after Herb Brooks got there. I was representing Canada Cup. So by the time I got to Herb, here I am in great shape, and I get to Herb, and Herb tells me, listen, I got this kid here, and he's going to be your sentiment. Who's that? Mark Pavlich. Oh, okay. I didn't know much about Mark.
Wow.
But then we started playing, and it was immediate. And that's when, I scored 40 goals with Mark Pavlich.
Yep.
And Davy Silk was there, so I played quite a bit with Davy Silk. So I got to know those Olympians, and it was respect both sides, right? They were young, but it was respect. And I love Herb Brooks is probably my favorite coach because with Herb Brooks, you felt like you were prepared. Like you knew this man he saw the game differently. And he set up our team to play the game differently, which is a puck control game. And he allowed me to be more free as a player versus just keep moving, Ron, just keep skating and Mark will find you versus going up and down, north and south. No, he allowed me to be flying out there. And he brought the best out of me. The timing was perfect because I had just finished playing in Canada Cup. So the whole thing worked perfectly. It's just that for whatever reason, Herb Brooks didn't like my lifestyle.
I think he was jealous.
And
I think he was jealous.
Well, yeah, he brought me in the room one time, and he's got the New York Post sitting on his desk. He's on page 6, right? And there's a little article in there about me, and he says, "Hey, Ron, can you be on the sports page at the back a little more than on page 6?"
Oh my God!
And that's all. That's all he said to me. I was like, oh, "Okay, I'll work on that."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, let me back up. When I got there, Sonny Warbler, remember Sonny Warbler?
Of course.
Sonny. Yeah, he took over, and he had Joe Namath with the Jets. And so Sonny Warbler understood, like, the Joe Namath type.
Of course.
Go perform on the ice, but I want you to be out there.
Of course, yes.
So he said to me, listen, I want you to be a player on the ice, but go out there, be seen. And I said, okay, I'll do my best. and so then now I got Herb Brooks, and he's telling me the opposite.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused, Sid.
Yeah, of course. And then you ended up being in Detroit. So, all right, I got 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes to go, and I want Ron Duguay, the great New York Ranger, one of the most popular and decent men you'll ever meet, popular athletes in the history of New York sports. 2 messages. The first message is to the fans, not just Ranger fans, but Islander fans, hockey fans, all over the world that have reached out to you, your GoFundMe page. In the next 60 seconds, got to make it pretty quick here, Ronnie. What's your message to the fans?
Well, it's just a great appreciation. You talk about, when you're in a situation like I'm at, you want to know that people are caring for you, or actually a lot of people are praying for me. So it's a big thank you to everyone. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get back out there. I hate asking for funds, but it's been coming in. It's been coming in nicely. But it's a big thank you, Sid. And I think that I'm going to be in a place where I'm going to be able to help others a lot more. So I look forward to continue doing what I'm doing. And the other thing is, now I'm making contacts with others that are actually going through the same situation.
Well, that was going to be my last. That was going to be my last question. The last message, you went right there. You're no dummy, Ron Duguay. You're smart. The second and last message was going to be, what is your message to people that are also going through this cancer battle?
Well, you had talked about it. Family is very important. Being happy is very important, and it's just doing the research for alternative stuff. So that's going to be my thing. It's like you can put in the work, but if you're not doing the proper work, it's not going to work. And so I'm going to open the eyes to many to other things that I'm doing that's been working. And so that's how I can help. I can do rah-rah and talk about being positive and everything, but you need the proper medicine to do this. And I've been mentoring certain folks right now already that are dealing with it, and I'm enjoying it. And so I'm going to continue doing that. That's why I need to get to the finish line with this new medication, and then I'm going to, whatever I'm doing, whatever my journey is to the end, I'm going to be showing it. People will be able to follow me on my Instagram page. And so I encourage everyone to kind of pay attention, because all I want to do is help, because so much has been given to me as a player, as a New Yorker, as a New York Ranger, NHL, so much has been given to me. I have to get back.
God, you're great. My friend Lori, real estate girl in New Jersey, says her brother's friend actually went to Turkey turkey for alternative medication. He had cancer. He was cured. At any rate, hi, Sarah. Again, Sarah Palin listening in Alaska. And Ron Duguay, you know how much I love you. You've been a great friend to me for a long time, decades. You and I go back. I don't know if you know that, but it's been decades. So thank you for having this conversation. It's very, very important for folks out there that may be struggling through the same thing, or just fans that got really nervous when they saw all the press yesterday. You sound great. And again, you're my favorite Ranger. Sorry, Mess. My favorite Ranger of all time and a great friend, Ron Duguay. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Sid. And you keep elevating your game because you're just doing it, buddy. Everybody loves you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Coming from you, that means a lot. There he is, the great number 10, all-time great New York Ranger, amazing player on the ice, but now the battle of his life, and it seems like, as Ron Duguay always does, he's winning again. We'll take a short break. Ray Kelly, Bill O'Reilly, and Scott Lebedo still to come. Thursday edition, Sid and Friends in the morning.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and busts. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.